And a pleasant good afternoon to you and yours, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network, where today we've got a pretty good bowling competition between two of the boys' best bowling teams in Brevard County. It's going to be the Edgewood Red Wolves going up against the Merritt Island Mustangs. Corey Husbands, Ian Harmon and company going up against Christian LaCorey and company as well. So hang tight. We'll be right back here in just a minute. They've got about 9 minutes of practice time to go. All right, we're going to get ready and go here. 4 minutes remaining on the practice time. Let me tell you a little bit about these two teams. They are the two of the best teams in all of Brevard County. They'll be looking to go head-to-head for a district championship, and of course next week, or in 2 weeks I should say, for the Cape Coast Conference Championship as well. Stepping into your stream right now is going to be Mr. Corey Husbands, and he's one of the top bowlers you'll see here today. Corey, a 2022 All-Space Coast bowler. As we get set, about 3 minutes of practice time remaining here. It's Merritt Island senior night, and I just can't believe our luck in being able to have lanes 39 and 40 here tonight. It is truly, we got the best seat in the house right here. Normally we would be amongst the chaos that is that all the way down. But tonight we have been blessed with the good fortune of this. And today's broadcast is brought to you by JT Builders and Remodelers. The information is on the bottom of the screen on our post for the bowling. We aren't able to run our switcher app out of the bowling alley here. And there's another one of the top bowlers in Brevard County, Mr. Ian Harmon. As Corey Husbands gets set to go. About 2.5 minutes remain in bowling time. It'll be Daryl Durand here with me today. Daryl got me set up here. It's for Merritt Island. It'll be Brody Douglas, Brady Harvath. Number 3 is going to be Solomon Johnson. 4, Lincoln Moyer. And 5, the Team USA representative, Christian LaCory. For Edgewood, it'll be Austin Kierfoot bowling first. Second will be Paul Wubena. Third will be Corey Husbands. Fourth, Tyler Wickfelder. And fifth will be Ian Harmon. There's Mr. Roy Wickfelder on. I'm sure he is here to cheer on Edgewood and Tyler as we get set to go here. And what is really a nice preview of the Cape Coast Conference coming up on the 17th, and that'll be live right here at Shore Lanes in Merritt Island, and that is an all-day event. It is absolutely fun. Now, we won't broadcast all day because it's a lot to keep up with. What we do is we learned our lesson. We come back for the Bakers in the afternoon, and we update you throughout the course of the day, and then we come back and broadcast the Bakers. And Ian looks like he's ready to go. And that's Mr. Douglas for Merritt Island. Under a minute to go here for practice. And then we'll do traditional. We'll do a traditional. Each bowler will bowl a traditional. And then we'll move to Bakers. I believe it's, what is the Bakers? Best out of 5? Oh, that's right. First to 7 points. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So it's the first team to 7 points. Traditional worth 2. The first 3 Bakers worth 1. And then the final Baker worth 2. I'd have to say by looking at the practice bowls here that Edgewood appears to be there are other teams bowling here today, but our feature match is Edgewood and Merritt Island boys today. For those of you that will want to know why they turn the lights off on us. Uh-oh. Coco's also in the house today. Oh. Yeah, I got you. I can't believe that my luck with this lane assignment. All right, real quick, come here. Let me get you real fast here. All right, I'm going to bring on Michael Bauer, the head coach for Cocoa. Michael, today we got Edgewood and Merritt Island. You told me a couple of weeks ago that this would likely be the matchup that, people would want to see here today. What makes this matchup so intriguing between these teams?
So I think on paper, at least at the beginning of the year, I think that especially on the boys' side, these are probably going to be the two teams that are going to be competing for a district title. Now that doesn't mean that we don't have other strong teams. Space Coast, Titusville, right? They're going to be in the running as well. I think you got Rockledge. There's quite a few other teams that have a chance, but I think on paper these are probably the two strongest boys' teams as we sit right now. As far as scores are concerned, so I think it's going to be a pretty even match, and hopefully it's exciting for everybody too.
I don't know that I explained it correctly. Coach here gave me the scoring system, but for those at home watching, how does this work?
All right, so first they're going to bowl a traditional game. So that's like if you were to walk in and you and four friends were to bowl, they're each going to get their own individual line of score. So you'll have 5 Merritt Island boys, 5 Edgewood boys, and whoever has the highest score is going to get 2 points. And then we go into Baker games. Those are worth 1 point each for those first 3 Baker games. And those are one line of score for 5 bowlers. So somebody's going to bowl that first frame and 6th frame. The next bowler's going to bowl the 2nd, 7th, so on and so forth. And those are worth 1 point each. And then that last Baker game is kind of our tiebreaker. That's worth 2.
Okay. All right. And as far as the bowlers for Edgewood, obviously we know the 2022 all Space Coast bowlers and Corey Husbands and Ian Harmon and, of course, Christian LaCorey for Merritt Island. Who else?
I think on the boys' side, Lincoln shot a 300 earlier this year. Lincoln Moyer from Merritt Island. He's young, so that was pretty exciting to watch. It's actually the top boys score so far this year, obviously being 300. And then I think Brody also as well on that Merritt Island team. I think both of those two have a shot to shoot some pretty big scores when they stay matched up with the lanes.
All right, I'll let you get back to your team. Check back with us here in a few. All right, Michael Bauer, head coach for the Cocoa Tigers. And starting off here, right out of the gate, Brody and Austin with strikes. Bray with a 7-spot, Paul with an 8 and a spare, a 7 and a spare. And here, let's see what we got. Corey Husbands leaves. Thank you. Corey Husbands leaves the 3-pin standing. Should be an easy pickup for Corey. Solomon Johnson leaves the 6, I believe. Husbands. And he'll kiss it. And that'll be a spare, two spare pickup. Solomon Johnson will do the same. And it's a 1-pin match through the first 3 bowlers on each side of the equation. This is Tyler Wickfelder. Wickfelder, he'll knock them all down. Tyler, nice roll. And for Merritt Island, it's Lincoln Moyer. Two-handed bowl. Lincoln with a good... Lincoln drops that right in the sweet spot of the pocket. And Tyler and Lincoln with strikes. This will bring us to Ian Harmon, the anchor bowlers. Ian Harmon and Christian LaCorey. Of course, you saw their interview Sunday on Brevard Sports Network in preparation for this one here tonight. Ian with a good turn. Oh. And LaCorey takes a peek over. And he'll leave the 3, 6, and 10. That should be a relatively easy pickup. And LaCorey. And Christian LaCorey with a strike on senior day. So a double to end out round 1 for Merritt Island. Frame 1, I should say. Nice pickup for Ian. He'll strike out or spare out there to end round one, and we'll go to frame two here. Second frame as Austin and Brody both balling on strikes. Brody Douglas for Merritt Island, and Austin Kerfoot for Edgewood. Merritt Island will now be bowling closer to us. So this will be Brody Douglas bowling. And Brody leaves the 10. So just a 10 pin there. And Austin with a double to start his day. And for Edgewood, that'll bring up Paul Wubena and Braden Harvath for Merritt Island. If you want, and it's entirely up to you because I thought we were going to be working. I didn't know we were going to be. You can roll. You don't have to stay, but I thought we were going to be working. Just know that for the Cape Coast Conference Championships, you see how this is. All right, and a lot of where our cameras are going to be on that day will be down in this area, and we don't do too much filming from up there. We're always down here. We'll even actually stand between the lanes sometimes. They'll leave us a dead lane to shoot from, but I mean, I don't know. I was hoping to be able to actually physically show you, but I apologize. Yeah. All right. Hey, have a safe trip. Corey Husbands coming off a spare strike now. And Horvath. Not as easy as it looks. Yeah. And Horvath will hit a spare here. 29, 28 plus. And this is Wickfelder on a strike, making a double for Tyler Wickfelder. As Tyler Wickfelder off to a superb start here today. Solomon Johnson, and too much kick. Bit hard in the pocket, and that'll leave the 2, 4, and 7 for Solomon. A hard pickup, but if you know what you're doing, pretty easy. Ian Harmon now. Harmon. And Ian kicks them all down, and that's 4, 5 straight strikes for Edgewood in frame number 2. So Edgewood flexing that strike muscle with 5. Austin, Paul, Corey, Tyler, and Ian all with an X in the upper right hand corner. Lincoln. This will be Lincoln Moyer. How about Lincoln Moyer with his second strike here today? And we'll see if Christian LaCory can match Lincoln Moyer with a double to start frames 1 and 2. LaCory. Oh, it looks good, and it is good. And LaCory with a double to start his day. And that's 2 to end frame 2 as Merritt Island will go spare, strike. But it's not 5 strikes. And Edgewood with 5 strikes in the second frame. They'll move back closer. And this is Austin Kerfoot here. Kerfoot will leave the 4, I believe. The 4 pin is up, standing. And on the Merritt Island side of the equation, it is Brody Douglas. Douglas working on a spare here with his first ball. And he'll strike it out. So Brody with a strike spare. Oh. A little smile there. But he'll pick it up, and that'll break the string of 5 straight strikes for Edgewood as they'll spare. And this will bring up Paul Wubina. Now 6 out of 7 for Edgewood as they sitting on a 199 to a 166, both pluses. And that right now, Edgewood taking advantage of the 3-pin left standing. Corey Husbands here. Corey kicks out, kicks in, and comes back. And Corey Husbands with a double there. And Edgewood continues to throw strikes here today, and a lot of them. It's Tyler Wickfelder now looking for a turkey here. 2 strikes, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Can he make it Thanksgiving in October? Oof. 4-pin cheats him. And Tyler will now look for the spare here. Solomon Johnson working on a 7 spare. Left-handed bowler comes back nicely in the pocket. And Solomon Johnson will knock him down. And you hear the chant, "Go Merritt Island," in the background. Wickfelder looking for a strike spare here. Oh, good luck. And easy peasy lemon squeezy. And Ian Harmon will step up. As will Lincoln Moyer. Edgewood on bowler 5. Merritt Island on bowler 4. Lincoln Moyer looking for 3 straight here to start. He's looking for his turkey. Moyer in the middle lane there, lane 39. Here's the roll. Looks good. It is just misses on the 10. So the turkeys are eluding the chase here. The 4 previous, and then now the 10 is Ian Harmon eyes it up. And Ian will also leave the 10 standing. As Lincoln Moyer will look to finish off a spare here. He takes it, goes right at it, and drops it. And Moyer with a spare. Harmon will try for the same pin. Harmon eyes it, likes it. And here he goes. He'll come inside out. And Christian LaCory now, the only person left on the board with an opportunity for a turkey to start here today. 3 straight. Well, the gobbler, gobble, gobble, elude him as well. LaCory. Gobble, gobble. There it is. 3 straight for LaCory as Merritt Island ends frame 3 with 2 out of 3 strikes there. They throw 3 of them in that frame as Edgewood will throw 2 and 3 spares as we move on to frame number 4. Lincoln with a 49 plus, and Austin and Tyler with 49 pluses for Edgewood. And this will be Austin. And that one came back a little too soon. Hit that head pin dead on, and he'll have the 3, 6, and 10 here to take down. As Brody Douglas steps up. Brody with 2 strikes and a 9 spare. It's a good roll. And Brody Douglas leaves the 9, I believe. 6, the 6. My depth perception a little off. Austin picks up his spare. That's a nice spare, considering he had the 3 in the corner there standing. And Brody Douglas will take a shot at the 6 here. Not before. Paul Wabina leaves the 7 standing. Douglas all over it, and there's his spare. No open frames here between these two at all. No open frames. And there's a strike. Horvath. And nasty here. That's the 4. And he's got to try to kick that back to the 6 and the 7 here. So he's got the 4, 6, and 7 split. We'll zoom in on this one for Horvath, and we could be looking at our first open frame of the day here. This is as tough a pickup. You want to hit that 4 and hope you can kick that 7 back across. That all sounds like easy geometrically speaking, but it ain't. As Horvath. He's got a shot at it here. Oh! That's a good try by Horvath, and he'll open here to a 64 through 4. And Corey Husbands will come out of the left side here. There's Corey. Corey with a surprising open frame there. Does not get it. Corey with a 76 now through 4 as he leaves. Solomon Johnson, the left-handed bowler, leaves the 6. So Johnson with the 6. Oh, man, thank you. Bro, you saved my life. You have no idea. You see me over here struggling? Right here. I'm like trying to figure out how to get comfortable. And there's a pickup. That's like Christmas, man. A stool. All right, Wickfelder steps up. Wickfelder, he's got a tough pickup here. Can he get it? Nope. And Wickfelder will leave 2 on the board, and he'll have an open 73. So the theme of the fourth frame is open framed. As Lincoln Moyer's first ball will count toward his 49 spare. Strike it up. Lincoln Moyer, 59-69 plus now as the Mustangs begin to come back on Edgewood here. They trail by 14 pins plus. I always like to throw that plus in. Ian Harmon. Harmon gets the all to fall. Barely, but he does, as Christian LaCory, the Team USA junior member here, looking for his 4th X on the board in a row. And the 3-pin cheats him of a 4-strike start. As LaCory is the final bowler before they will switch sides again. LaCory looking for the pickup. 59, 69, 79 for LaCory. As we'll switch sides here. So after 4 frames on the board, tight one, just as we thought it would be. It's just a 5-pin advantage at the moment for Edgewood, 374 to 369. But again, you've got 1, 2, 3 marks here bowling on for Edgewood and 4 for the Mustangs. So the Mustangs with a really good opportunity here to take the lead. And that's going to leave the 10-7-3, 3-7-10, 3-6-10, 3-6-10. How we doing? We all right? So, as I look at this scoreboard, Coach, I'm looking at 388 to 369. What does it really mean?
All right, so right now, now that Merritt Island threw that shot, and especially with the strike there, Merritt Island having an extra mark in that 4th frame. Merritt Island's up by a little bit here. I'd say 11, 12 pins, something like that. They're pretty much dead even right now as far as the scoreboard shows, but being they have an extra mark in the 4th, they're up by 10 or 11.
Coach, I wanted to ask you while we had you on here about the future of high school bowling here in Brevard County and what it looks like.
I think the big thing lately has been, I mean, obviously we're probably not quite as strong in some areas as we used to be. I mean, we do have some pretty heavy hitter boys programs, but probably not quite as strong as we were 5 or 6 years ago. But then again, like everything's a little cyclical, right? I think league numbers are up as far as youth leagues locally. So I think give it another 3 or 4 years, and I think we'll be kind of, a little more strong than we are now. I think we're probably a little on the kind of at the bottom of that downslope right now and going to come back up, and scores will start pushing back up again.
Not bad when you're coming off a year in which you had a girls team win a state championship and a couple of boys I thought, went pretty deep last year. it becomes a whirlwind for you guys from really this point on with Cape Coast Conference districts, and then of course over in Orlando at Boardwalk and Bowl. What are those? Do you know when those are coming up?
So the conference tournament is going to be October 17th. That'll be here at Shore Lanes, Merritt Island, and that'll be both North and South are going to be here together. So that's an all-day event. And then on the 23rd for us of October, we will have our District 10 tournament at River Lanes. And I believe it's on the 24th. I could be wrong. But it's within a day of ours on the South. They'll have their event over at Shore Lanes in Palm Bay.
All right. And then the other question I have for you is this. I'm seeing more and more two-handed bowlers. And you know, I kind of want to get out there and give it a whirl, you know, because I don't know. They look like they have a little bit more. What is the advantage to rolling with one hand to two?
So the hardest thing in bowling is getting the ball off your thumb, right? Clearing your thumb. So being able to not have to worry about your thumb clearing the ball is a huge advantage. Obviously, they're going to have a little more rev rate. Like this is a good example with Ian here, and I think this is a pretty big shot if he can figure this right lane out. So that's 3 frames in a row here on this right lane that the ball hasn't done what he expected. So, but I think as far as the two-handed game, the best bowler in the world, Jason Belmonte's two-handed, and obviously when you got a guy that's winning everything, just like Tiger Woods, you know, in golf for years and years, everybody wants to do what they're doing. So that's what started pushing it.
Makes sense here. Now, when you say the lane's not doing what he wants it to do, is that the way these lanes are conditioned? Because I know, you know, I was reading an interesting article about where Bayside was over bowling, and I can't remember. Keegler, was it? Was it Keegler? Keegler, and they're talking about that one of their major goals is to perfect the perfect lane, if there is such a thing. What do they even mean by that?
So while the lane conditions do play a huge part of it, right, because we can put different oil patterns down, which are going to affect the ball in different ways, just like in golf, just because that's an easy one for most people to understand. The difference between if you go out and play on a course and then you have the professionals come in and play on that same course, they're going to have deeper roughs, they're going to have faster greens or whatever. You know, they're going to cut the feet. They're going to cut different. It's the same here. One of the big issues in many bowling centers, and when I say issues, we're talking on the small side of things. Bowling lanes are required to be flat within 40 thousandths of an inch. Typically, those end pairs, because they're affected by the environment a little more than your normal lanes in the bowling center, because they're right up against that outside wall, they're going to get affected more. And so many times those lanes will hook more or hook different. So in general, in this building, lane 40 is going to hook probably 2 to 3 boards more. And so being on that end pair, it's like you're bowling in 2 different buildings. And so like for Ian in that case, it looked like he tried to move left because he saw more hook, and then when he moved left, it didn't hook enough. And so now he's kind of like, we'll see if he can figure out how to kind of get out of that phone booth here.
3 of the 4 open frames thus far have come off of this lane. Coach, thank you so much. I'll get these people here watching up to date, and we'll get you back on here before it's over. All right. Coach Michael Bauer from the Cocoa Tigers. We are at the top of frame 6, and it's 473 to 471 in favor of Merritt Island at the moment. So the Mustangs within or have a couple of pin advantage here. Those open frames back in frame 4, the big key in this one thus far, as Brody Douglas takes his shot here on treacherous lane 40. And he will leave the 10. And we just said 4 of the now 5 open frames have come on this lane right here, lane 40. As Braden Horvath here on lane 40. Braden Horvath has no problem with lane 40 as he'll knock them all down for his second strike in the last three frames. Corey Husbands now looking to. Husbands recovers from his open frame to strike twice since then. And Solly Johnson working on a double here. Left-handed. Nice spin in the pocket. And it's a Butte, Clark. He'll knock them all down. And that'll be a double. Wickfelder on 39. And Wickfelder gets it. Nice job by Wickfelder there. Lincoln Moyer here. Looking for a turkey. 3 in a row here. And this would be his 5th in 6 frames here to start. Moyer's approach. And he left that one a little too far to the right. And as a consequence, he will leave the 2-8. Not an easy pickup here. Got to be a little touch on this. You can't blow this down the lane because that 2-pin will kick out, and that 8 will be left standing. And Ian Harmon, he finds harmony over on lane 39. As we have this ball and LaCorey to go before we'll switch sides again. 2 points at stake here in the traditional. Moyer. Nice job by Moyer. That's a good pickup. And here comes LaCorey looking for his 5th strike in 6 frames.
Let's go, Christian! Let's do it, LaCorey! Ready? Let's go! There we go! Right down the middle.
And LaCorey says, indeed, I'll knock them all down, and he does. And we'll switch sides for the 7th. 5-65 to 5-51. Merritt Island on top by 5. But Edgewood with 4 strikes in the 6th frame. And the Mustangs with just 3. This is, at best, a couple of pins apart. At best. At best. Oh, that looked good. That looked really good. Not sure where he missed. But he's got the 10 to contend with. Brody Douglas. And Brody Douglas does the same thing. Brody will leave the 10. I want to say hello to Rachel LaCorey watching here on Brevard Sports Network. Hello, Rachel. And they'll just go right at it and knock it down. I should say kiss it down. And Brody, see if he goes from the outside to the inside or just goes right at it here. Why play with it? Get her done. Douglas. And he does. This will bring up Paul. Say there to Billy. What's going on, Billy? I didn't even see you on there, my friend. Hello. Good to see you. And here is a difficult takeout here with the 10 pin in the bag, and I think that's 2. And there's a strike for the Mustangs. And Solomon will step up here. See if Paul can finish this spare off. This is a tough one and a big one. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, my. And that is the first open frame for Paul, and he's got a 136 through 7 here. Daryl is fantastic. Guy's playing with me, man. Strike by Corey. Hey, man, if you can't have fun, why come? Billy's watching from like, I don't know. What would you say, Daryl? How far away is Billy?
2 feet.
2 feet. Oh. Nope. And that's the 8 that's left up there for Wickfelder. 6:45. 6:25. I think they should let the student sections in, like from the volleyball matches, sit in the back. That'd be fun. You can't do that. There's a gutter there. Oh, nice pickup. Wickfelder doing it the fancy way. And LaCorey to bowl for Merritt Island. Who else is on? Michael King, Travis, Judy Jeffers, Ryan Houston. All watching with me, Daryl and Billy, here on Brevard Sports Network today. That 10 pin is driving both teams nuts today. Here comes Ian Harmon. He figured out 40 that time as Ian, now with 3 strikes in his last 4 frames. Little team huddle here. All right, here we go. Into the final quarter of the match. The 8th, 9th, and the 10th coming up in the traditionals. Coco making some noise across the way. And so is Austin with an 8th frame strike here as Brody gets set to roll.
Let's go,
Brody Douglas. Douglas. Looking good is good. Brody Douglas says, let's go. Let's go. Braden will step up. Who did you guys lose to this year?
We lost to Titusville when we had 4 people on the team.
Is that really? Okay.
Yeah, because we had one out.
All right, their lone loss. They had a lone loss to Titusville, and they only had 4 bowlers. Had no Christian LaCory that day. Edgewood 2 losses this year. Oh, that looks good, and it is good. And Merritt Island putting the pressure on. Strike 8 for Edgewood through the first 2. Strike. And Solomon is looking for his 4th strike in a row. Solomon Johnson. Solly, I think I hear him calling. Solly. Oh, that looks good. Solomon Johnson with 4 in a row. Nice shot. He's feeling it. And you know he's feeling it because a lot of times the bowlers pick the ball up and they'll study the lane. And if you bowl, you know what I'm talking about. He just picked the ball up, walked right up. And Corey Husbands right now, not with his best effort here. He's got 5 pins. He's got to take down an unusual. Keep our eye on Corey here. He's already got 1 open frame thus far in this one. And he just tried to kick the pin back, and Corey, after bowling with 3 straight strikes, now with a 157 through 8. Good roll, but he'll tell you, not good enough. Moyer. And that's 4 in a row for the Mustangs. And they are coming on big time now. And when it matters most, it's the Mustangs knocking them down here. As LaCory with 5 strikes and 2 spares will step up here. Tyler Wickfelder on lane 39. That's a good-looking ball. Wickfelder with a big-time and needed strike.
One time, Christian, you got it. Yes.
LaCory. I don't know how I missed it, but it did. And let's take a watch here at Ian Harmon on lane 39. Harmon. Ian Harmon follows Wickfelder with a strike to close out frame 8. And LaCory. LaCory. Nice ball from LaCory. And they'll switch sides here for 9. As Edgewood 768, Merritt Island 793.
I haven't tallied all the scores.
Right. Where would you say?
Merritt Island's actually up probably at least 75 to 100.
Really?
With all
Yeah.
the strikes.
Yeah, I see him.
Every strike, you get the next two balls
Wow. Okay.
into that frame.
Daryl kind of explaining it to me a little bit here. The point system that Merritt Island actually way out front. 2 open frames on the board here. 2 in the last 2 frames for Edgewood. Merritt Island with just 1, and that didn't occur until back in the 4th. And the Mustangs continue to roll strikes while Edgewood is picking up spares. And as Daryl said, you get 2 balls on the strike, 1 on the spare.
And for the spare, you only get the next
1 ball, right. Still an opportunity here, but Merritt Island would have to hit some sort of a wall as Horvath looks for his 4th straight strike. And he'll get it. Merritt Island just in a groove right now. And here's the man that is on a run here, and that is Mr. Solly. He's got 4 in a row here, looking for 5 in a row. We'll keep our eye on Solly here. Solomon Johnson. This time he takes his time a little more. Johnson. Oh. He'll leave the 6, 7. That'll be a spare. That'll bring up Corey Husbands. Corey with an 8 his last time. He's on a 157, and Solly picks up his spare. Yeah, Daryl was right. Nearly 100-pin lead. And Corey Husbands bounces back with a strike. Tyler Wickfelder will be up next. Five strikes and 3 spares for Wick in this one. Actually 2 spares and an open frame in the 4th. 73 has bounced back nicely since. 3 strikes and a spare since leaving an open frame. Moyer on frame 39. And Moyer continues the Mustang strike party. Wickfelder. And he'll leave 2. 2. Wickfelder, yes indeed, got to pick up your spares, and Wickfelder does just that. As Christian LaCory will close out frame number 9. As he and Harmon have a conversation. Mustangs huddle up. I think we're waiting on this guy right here. I don't see what team does Harlow play for? Edgewood? As Christian LaCory and Ian Harmon, the anchor bowlers for each team. LaCory. And LaCory strikes down here, and Ian Harmon now will step up. Ian does not like this lane 40, and unfortunately, he'll leave the 4-pin. I haven't seen him yet today. I've not seen him. So, Ian upset. And still an opportunity, not in this particular traditional, but obviously once we get to the Bakers, life begins anew again here. This one is pretty much over here, Coach. We're here with Michael Bauer. Coach, this one pretty much over. The couple of open frames up there really killed Edgewood there.
Yeah, and I think, obviously Merritt Island, having all these doubles up here and having the lead, it's going to be theirs to lose. But, they are moving over to the slower scoring lane, so you never know. There's a chance here that Edgewood could make a little run and put some pressure on them, and maybe that causes Merritt Island to fumble a little bit. We'll see, but I would say, yeah, this one's kind of pretty safe on the Merritt Island front.
So Merritt Island will now go into the Bakers with 2 points, correct?
That's correct. Yep, and then it's best of 7. So with those 2 points in your pocket, assuming that everything stays how it is now, that would mean that Edgewood would have to win a couple Bakers and then also take that last Baker game, that 2-point Baker game there at the end in order to win the match.
Coach, how does recruiting for college work for bowling? I know we've got bowlers in college, Michael Harmon Jr. How does that work? It's a little more difficult probably than your football, basketball, things like those like whatever you want to call them, tier 1 sports, right? But the good thing is, at least those of us coaches that are also bowlers, some of us do know quite a few of the college coaches, right? Edgewood has a pretty good connection to a lot of college programs. We have a pretty good connection over at Coco. So with that, I actually come in on the weekends periodically, and I'll do college recruitment videos for the kids. Really?
And then I upload them to YouTube. I provide them a little private link, and they can share it with whatever colleges they want. If they need help contacting colleges, I help them with that. It's not just my school; it's all the schools. So
it's a big community, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We all try to work together. Obviously, when we're on, when we're on the lanes competing against each other, we're competitors. But at the end of the day, we're out here as coaches to try to help the kids, even though it's not always, our own kids. At the end of the day, we're trying to make Brevard bowling as good as it can be.
Wow. Okay, we talk a lot about the boys. On the girls' side, and I know you can only really speak to your side of the county, but on your side of the county, who are we looking at as state championship quality contenders on the girls' side?
I think Space Coast is obviously going to be in the conversation. They already won it last year, and while they did have a girl or two kind of age out, they are still going to be really strong. They still got Brook Street over there that was the state.
How many sisters?
3 in total, and Brooke was the state runner-up last year. So when you got the state runner-up sitting there, plus the rest of your team is still together, they got to be near the top. I think Rockledge is going to be good. I would say as far as districts are concerned, because we take that top 4 in the afternoon, it's going to be Space Coast, Rockledge, Titusville, I think are pretty much locks for those top 3. And then I think it's going to be kind of the other teams are all kind of stacked on top of each other. So it's going to be whoever can show up on district day is going to kind of fit that 4 hole, because we're all kind of in the same category. We're all right about 500. We're kind of fighting for spots,
All right, as we get set to go here through frame number 10, here this is Horvath, and it's all, Coach. Everything looks like a good ball to me. Obviously I'm no professional, so there, it just looked like a really good ball. How do they all not just fall down every time?
bowling, it's touchy. One of the hardest things in the bowling world is we were talking about earlier, that oil on the lane that you can't see, right? It's like, it'd be like walking out to the golf course and not being able to feel the wind, and you don't know until you see the ball roll down the lane. So every adjustment as the oil moves around on the lane is an educated guess. It would be like you don't know what the wind's doing until you hit it, and then you have to hope and remember that, hey, when I get to hole 4 tomorrow, the wind's going to be going in the same direction. You're guessing every time. So now, obviously, we get better at guessing in an educated way, but that's why I think, like we were talking about earlier, you see Ian gets up and throws that shot, and it looked like he was pretty happy with it off his hand, and then he leaves I believe it was a 2-8 maybe, and it didn't hook enough, and he looked a little flabbergasted up there, and I think it's because it's all just a guessing game.
I tell you what, the bowling community, I'll never forget the first time you invited me to come broadcast bowling, and I walked in, and I couldn't believe my eyes in terms of, and there's a nice ball there. Couldn't believe my eyes as to the parents, the ladders, the chairs. I even went out and bought me a little chair. I mean, it is amazing, the intensity, the atmosphere. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we even got parents out here holding makeshift little periscopes so they can see over everybody. And that's pretty typical each and every match out there. That's got a hook.
All right, Coach, we're going to finish up here. Check back with me here when we get into the Bakers. Coach Michael Bauer of the Cocoa Tigers. And just as Daryl said, as we get closer and closer to the end of the traditionals, take a look at the scoreboard here, if you can see it. Merritt Island is on the right, and Edgewood is on the left. Corey Husbands is up now bowling. But this is looking like a Merritt Island runaway here in the later stages of this one. Husbands will leave the 10. Sally Johnson to bowl. Boy, we couldn't have got more blessed today than where we are here. As Wickfelder with a strike here. Tyler will end strong here. He'll get another 2 balls here. Sully, a little bit too much off the lane there. He leaves the 3-5 and the 6 pin. The 3-5 and the 6. As Wickfelder will like to finish out here. 10-27 to 9-87 unofficially here at the moment. And he'll pick up a nice spare there on a nearly 18-mile-per-hour ball. As Wickfelder will miss. He'll get one more shot here. 2-8-5 here for Wickfelder. And this will be his final ball. Of the traditional, that is. Charmaine Walker says, "Go Mustangs." And that they are doing. Moyer with 3 strikes in a row, looking for his 4th. Boy, he got, that's something. He's got the 3, 4, 6, 10, and 7 up. That is not exactly what you want to see after your first ball. I'm going to blame that on Charmaine Walker for jinxing. Nah, I'm kidding, Charmaine. I'm joking. Ian Harmon now on a spare to start his 10th. Ian gets that, and Ian with the little look back as if to say, I had it the whole time. Not really, though. And it'd be interesting to see here what Moyer does. Harmon with a 15-mile-per-hour ball that time for the strike. And Moyer going to let him bowl out here. Are they? Oh, okay. Over here, yeah. All right, so, yep. They're waiting on, 10 pin is reset, and we're ready. It magically appeared from the pin heaven above. Harmon. And that time, he leaves the 4. So Ian Harmon left to bowl for Merritt Island will be Christian LaCory. And then we'll move on to the Bakers. The approach. Oh, has he got it? Oh! What a pickup! What a pickup! Beautiful pickup. He's a freshman. That was a nice pickup by Lincoln Moyer. You got that one on tape, Lincoln. 10:55, and Edgewood is done at a 10:27. So Merritt Island will pick up the 2 points in the traditional round. And when you're hot, you're hot. And right now, his bowling ball is on fire. As LaCory now Christian LaCory with 1. Got 2 more coming to him. High bowler for Edgewood was Ian Harmon with a 219. You have both Lincoln and Solly at 226 and 232. Yeah. And right now, Christian's at a 247. And the old Chuck Norris kick there. I like it. I like the moxie. As LaCory looking to finish strong here. Absolutely. 247 is right where he finishes. Nice game. LaCorey with a game high, 247 here. And so I'm going to step aside for a couple of minutes. I'll be right back here on Brevard Sports Network. If I'm not, Daryl will take over, and I'll be back.
All right, folks, thanks for watching here on Brevard Sports Network. I am Double D Daryl Durand, stepping in for Alan Slaughterzinski for the time being. Merritt Island will start on lane 40. Edgewood will start on lane 39. And a good ball there in the pocket for the Edgewood High School team. Douglas now up for Merritt Island. He will bowl the 1-6 frame. And we are tied out of strike apiece. Merritt Island picks up 7. Got a spare attempt coming up. Braden now up for the Merritt Island Mustangs in the second frame. Ball goes down the lane and hits a little light in the pocket, leaving the 2-5. Edgewood picks up their spare. Merritt Island Mustangs attempting their spare and pick it up. So 20 in the first frame for both teams. Third bowler gets a strike for Edgewood. So they're sitting at 50 right now. Johnson stepping up in the third frame here for the Merritt Island Mustangs. The only left-handed bowler on the two lanes. So really has his own oil pattern. Coming into the pocket for a strike. So we are tied at 50 here in the first Baker's match. Edgewood just a little high there, leaving 2 pins. The 2 and the 8 pin. Moyer now up for Merritt Island. Starting off on the left side, right side, coming into the pocket. Messenger does not come across. 10 pin left for the Mustangs. Ooh. And that's going to be an open frame for Edgewood in the 4th. Jeff Bragg, how's the dump treating you today, buddy? Merritt Island trying to pick up the 10 and picks it up. So Merritt Island now has 2 strikes and 2 spares. So Edgewood down 2 on the board. Merritt Island still has a clean game going. Edgewood's 5th bowler and strikes. Christian now up for the Merritt Island Mustangs. Just finished his single game at a 247. Ball's away. Sits in the pocket, and the Messenger comes across. So Merritt Island strike, spare, strike, spare, strike. And a strike for Edgewood. So Merritt Island is up right now, even though it does not say it on the scoreboard. Douglas throws, hits the pocket a little high, but gets in there for a strike. So Merritt Island is up in this Baker's match. Braden is up for Merritt Island on lane 40. Edgewood's going to attempt their spare on lane 39. Ball's away, comes back to the 10 board. Go. Oh, he's going to hit high on the head pin. Leaving the 3-6-10. Edgewood picking up their spare. They're sitting at a 115 right now, 125. Waiting on the next ball thrown in the 8th. Merritt Island sitting at 131. Working on 2 strikes, trying to pick up a spare here in the 7th. Strike there for the Edgewood high school team. Ball's away, looks good, and gets him. Merritt Island still clean through 7. Edgewood comes in high, leaving the 7, 3-6-10. A pickable spare shot, can get that. Johnson with the strike ball. A little high there, but gets the pins to all hit one another down. Merritt Island still clean through 8. Edgewood has a open frame in the 4th. Merritt Island leads by 2 on the scoring sheet and didn't get that ball over to the right further enough to pick up that 7. So now 2 open frames for Edgewood, and Moyer now up in the 9th. If Moyer does strike here, Merritt Island should win this Baker's match. Still have the 10th frame left for both squads. Little light there. Pickable spare coming up, 2, 4, and 8 pin. I'd like to thank everybody for watching the broadcast. The broadcast is brought to you by JT Andrews Framing and Remodeling. And Edgewood strikes in the 10th, has 2 more balls to go. You can see the girls on the further lanes over on 38 and 37 of Merritt Island and Edgewood. There's the ball, looks pretty good, comes back and gets the spare. And Merritt Island will take that point. So they're up 3-0. One more point wins the match. So I'm just told by Coach Billy Grease that they need a strike to win for the Merritt Island Mustangs. And the messenger comes over on lane 39. Double strike there for Edgewood. Nice ball there by Christian. Comes into the pocket, but leaves the 4 pin. A makeable spare here for Christian. He needs this in about 3 pins in his next shot. And she comes back, and Merritt Island will have it, as Edgewood changed up their shooter in the 10th after the one bowler got 2 strikes, brought in another bowler for the last shot in the 10th. So right now, Merritt Island is up by 6, and they have won this first Baker's match. Came back across, and Merritt Island will win it 204-190 in the Baker's matchup. So now Merritt Island up 3-0. All right, and here we go to Baker's match number 2. Little Brooklyn action there, leaving 3 pins. Brody Douglas now up for Merritt Island. Ball's away. Gets in there. So Merritt Island starts off with a strike in Baker's match number 2. And if you're not familiar with the Baker's matchup, the first bowler will bowl the 6 frame. Oh, and Edgewood starts off with an open frame in the first. Oil starting to break down a little bit on these lanes. And if you ever bowled on a league, you know the outside lanes at the bowling alleys do tend to change more than the inside. Edgewood gets a strike there. A little high there for Merritt Island. The 6-10-7. A tough spare pickup, but it is makeable. I picked it up a few times in my league on Monday nights. And Edgewood gets a strike in the third. So they're working on 2 strikes. Merritt Island working on 1. Trying to pick up this spare. And did not get over far enough. Merritt Island will have an open frame in the second. Edgewood now has 3 strikes. 2, 3, 4. Solomon Johnson now up for Merritt Island in the third. Ooh, baby, it hung on to that one board on the left side. Brandon Bragg now tuning in. And Edgewood coming out firing now on all cylinders. 4 strikes in a row. Johnson picks up the spare in the third. So Edgewood fighting their way back in this contest, down 3-0. Brandon, you sitting at the dump with your dad? They do a great dumpster service. Bragg's roll-off dumpsters. Maybe we get them to sponsor a game or 2 here on BSN. Moyer now up for Merritt Island. Gets a strike there. Came in a little light, but got everything to fall. And Edgewood picks up their spare in the 6th. So Merritt Island down 70. But anything can happen in the game of bowling here, folks. Edgewood is in the 7th. Merritt Island in the 5th. And their cleanup bowler, Christian, Coach Billy's nephew, cousin, hits the pocket nice and firm. And Merritt Island's on 2 strikes. Two 5 pins remain for Edgewood in the 7th. Got the pickup for Edgewood. So they're sitting at 146-68 up on the Mustangs here in game number. It's actually game number 3. Baker match number 2. Douglas now up for the Merritt Island Mustangs in the 6th. Ball's away, coming back, looking for the pocket, and leaves a 10-pin. Edgewood strikes in the 8th. Thank you all for tuning in to the broadcast today between Edgewood and the Merritt Island Mustangs here at Shore Lanes in Merritt Island. I know we'll have a lot more bowling coverage coming up in the next weeks. Ooh, went Brooklyn there, leaving 3 pins on the right, the 3, 6, and 9 pin. Douglas is attempting to pick up the 10 and does. Merritt Island now going into the 7th. Edgewood in the 9th. Nice pocket shot for the Mustangs, cutting into that deficit. They would have to strike out to have a chance. Edgewood gets the pickup. Yeah, Merritt Island will need to strike out the rest of the way. Johnson strikes there for the Mustangs, cutting into that deficit. Ian now up for the Edgewood High School team. Falls away. And Messenger comes across in front, leaving the 10 pin. Merritt Island still has a shot in this game. Moyer is going to be up in the 9th for Merritt Island. Moyer coming up on the approach, ball's away. And will not get the strike, so Edgewood should win this point. Merritt Island down 30 now in the 9th. Ball's away, and he picks up the 10. Merritt Island down 31. Eight pin sitting back there. Moyer throws the ball. Got it. So down 29. Christian now the main bowler for the Merritt Island Mustangs, the anchor bowler. Falls away for Edgewood. Hits the pocket. And that should give Edgewood their first point of the afternoon with that strike. approach. Christian throws. Good ball there by Christian. Merritt Island still has a shot in this game, folks. Christian is the man with the release today for the Merritt Island Mustangs. Needs 2 more strikes, and they will win the match by 1 point. It has just got very quiet in here, folks. We're trying not to be loud on the broadcast. Down 19 pins, 2 strikes would win this match and contest for the Mustangs. And one of the Edgewood girls kind of jumped in front of Christian, knocking him off his game. So he puts the ball down, regroups, gets a re-rack. And he's going to let lane 38 bowl out. Taking a breath here. As the anchor bowler comes up for his second ball in the 10th. Ball's away. And he gets him to fall. Merritt Island has dug out of a huge deficit in this game. If Christian does strike out, Merritt Island will win the contest today. 4 love, still with 2 more Baker's matches to go. But it's the best of 7. And Merritt Island will have a total of 4 if Christian strikes right here for the Merritt Island Mustangs. Young man on the approach. And the throw. And it hits! Merritt Island comes back 216 to 215. What a match between the Edgewood High School and Merritt Island High School teams. Christian coming up big as the anchor bowler, getting a strike in the 5th and 3 in the 10th to win the match by 1. Merritt Island now up 4-0. Will win the day here at Shore Lanes in Merritt Island. Still 2 Baker's matches to come. Next Baker's match is worth 1 point, and the final one is worth 2. Oh, they don't bowl the next 2? Oh, okay. Okay, so I've been told by Coach Billy that they do not have to bowl the next 2 matches. Merritt Island wins 4 love here at Shore Lane. So for the Merritt Island Mustangs here and everybody, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning into the broadcast today. Merritt Island wins 4-0. Yeah, they're going to play, I've been told by Coach Billy. They're going to play it out, but they have won today. So Merritt Island won with 1,100 plus points. And a 204 and a 216 in the Baker's matches. Edgewood strikes in the first. I mean, as you can see, all the lanes still active. They got some oil going on the lanes for their league nights tonight here in Merritt Island Shore Lanes. Merritt Island picks up the 10-pin in the first. All right, Coach Billy. I'd like to thank Coach Billy Grease for helping me with a couple analogies on the network here. So Merritt Island now just working on some practice shots. They have won 4-0. Edgewood working on a strike. Has 3 pins left there. Spider ball is away. Merritt Island spare and strike in the third game. Nice spare pickup for Edgewood. Johnson now throws, the only left-hander. Oh, 7-pin left there. Edgewood now putting some other bowlers in to get some practice shots. Johnson picks up the 7-pin. So Merritt Island still clean through the third frame. Edgewood has a 7 pins left to pick up on lane 39. Good shot there by Moyer. So spare strike for the Mustangs. And Edgewood will have an open frame in the third, leaving 1 pin. So Christian now up in the fifth, who just clinched it for the Merritt Island Mustangs in the last Baker's match. Mighty good young bowler. Ooh, little high there. Going to leave the 7-10. Dangerous split. Strike there by Edgewood. Got the 7-pin. So Merritt Island has their first open frame of the third Baker's match. Up 36 right now. Edgewood working on a strike. Ball comes in high. And we'll have the 6-pin left for a spare attempt. As the Merritt Island girls pick up a spare on lane 38. Douglas slinging the rock down. Coming in the pocket. Oh! Messenger comes across in front. So 10 pin left for the Mustangs. Edgewood picks up their spare. Down 25 going in the sixth. Merritt Island trying to pick up their 10 pin here in the sixth frame. Ooh, just falls off the lane there. Couldn't hang on to the one board. So Merritt Island goes back to back. Open frames, and Edgewood gets a strike there in the sixth. Now only down 5. Gets a strike there. Not the perfect strike, but Merritt Island gets back on the marking trail with a strike there in the seventh. Edgewood down now 15 to the Merritt Island Mustang boys. Decent ball thrown there. Gets in the pocket. Ooh, he's out of trouble there. Gets a 7 pin to fall. 10 pin stays up. Johnson now the only left-hander, throws, and it comes in. Strike for the Merritt Island team. Moyer now is up and will bowl in the ninth. Moyer. Ooh, got the messenger to come across. Merritt Island now sitting on 3 strikes, 7, 8, and 9. And Edgewood's going to fall off into the gutter. So they had their second open frame. They're open in the third and the seventh. Merritt Island open in the 5th and the 6th, but have struck in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And now Christian is up for the Merritt Island boys once again. Different approach here for Christian. And a shorter approach, but gets the job done. 4 strikes in a row now for the Mustangs. And a pocket strike there for the Edgewood team. So Christian going to line up all the way over on the left side, throwing his ball completely across to the right and coming back. Folks, he starts all the way and has so much torque on his ball that he gets it straight back into the right side. and gets a clean strike there for the Mustangs. Strike there for Edgewood. And once again, Christian starting all the way on the left. And coming in high, leaving the 6'10". He's just trying a couple of different shots there. Merritt Island, another 200 game, a 215. They had a 216 last game. And the Lady Mustangs get a spare there on lane 38. Edgewood down to their two last shots in Baker's match number 3. Merritt Island has swept another game from the Edgewood team. Ball's away. Leaves the 10 pin. Another pickup spare there on lane 38 for the girls of the Merritt Island. Last ball in this match, and he picks it up. So a total of 189 for the Edgewood team. So we go into the final Baker's match of the day. Now 5 points to none. Merritt Island has won the match, but they're just going to bowl it out. They did not have to bowl it out, but decided to bowl it the rest of the way out. All 200 games in the Baker's match for the Merritt Island Mustangs. A 190, 215, and 189 for Edgewood. So this is the last and final match of the afternoon. Ooh. Leaves the 10. And I want to say 4 pin. So 4-10 pin here for the Edgewood High School bowling team. Just goes for the 10 and gets the 10. So open frame in the first for Edgewood. Merritt Island up on lane 39. Ball's away. Ooh, gonna come in real high on that, leaving 4 pins. The 4, 9, 6, 10. A makeable spare for Merritt Island. Merritt Island. Good pocket strike there for Edgewood. Ball's away for Merritt Island. Ooh, barely picks that up. So spare in the first for Merritt Island. Open and a strike in the second for Edgewood. Ball's away in the third. And just kind of the opposite. Going to be the 4-7-6. And the lanes, you can tell, are breaking down. The oil is breaking down on both lanes, as if you do bowl, the outside lanes at any bowling alley will break down sooner than the other lanes in the middle because of the outside walls, as either it being hot or cold. These bowling alleys are not the newest around here in Brevard, so it doesn't have a lot of insulation on the outside walls. Ooh, good try there. Almost trying to get the messenger coming across to the 6. And Merritt Island gets their spare. Ball's going. Ooh, I thought it would get over, get a Brooklyn strike, but hits the head pin, leaving a 3-9-6 for the Edgewood High School bowling team. Solomon now up. Ooh, hanging on to that and not coming across. Has to adjust for his next ball. But you can see with that ball thrown by Solomon Johnson and that ball thrown by Edgewood not coming back. So the oil's been moved around on the lanes here at Shore Lanes in Merritt Island. They're just bowling on the house shot here at Shore Lanes, whatever their house shot is. Johnson trying to pick up the spare. Got it. Nice spare pickup by Johnson. Moyer now up for Merritt Island. Ball gets on in there for a strike. So Merritt Island 3 spares and 2 strikes. Excuse me, 3 spares and 1 strike. They're in the 5th. Ball does not hit the pocket flush, leaving the 2, 4, 5, and 8 pin for the Edgewood boys. Nice ball by the King. Christian is definitely the king for the Merritt Island boys bowling team, as he has been clutch for the Mustangs today. Ooh, just came across too much. That oil down there is breaking down, as I've been saying. Now Douglas up in the 6th frame for Merritt Island. Throws it down there, staying. Ooh, comes in very high. Edgewood gets a strike there. Good strike there by Corey of the Edgewood boys bowling team. Douglas now trying to pick up his spare over the 3-6-10. Ball's away and gets it. Merritt Island celebrating there. Ball's away for Edgewood. Hits a little high there. Leaving the 3-pin. Almost got them all down there. Edgewood working on a strike. Merritt Island working on a spare. A strike, you get the next 2 balls. So that's going to be a 73 in the 6 for Edgewood. And ball's away. Gets in the pocket but leaves the 7. So 9 plus the 10, so 119 in the 6 for Merritt Island. Gets over for the Brooklyn, leaving the 6. Ooh, Edgewood girls picking the 7-pin up there on lane 38. Seven-pin pickup for Merritt Island. Going into the 8th frame for Merritt Island. Edgewood is in the 8th right now. The lefty, the southpaw. Ooh, hitting high once again. But a makeable 2-4 spare pickup. Just comes off his hand wrong there for Edgewood. So another open frame there. Merritt Island is going to cruise to 7-0 on the day against Edgewood High School. Johnson throws for a spare. Ooh, did not get it over far enough. So first open frame of the last Baker's frame for Merritt Island and Edgewood. Now Moyer up in the 9th. Ball's away. Gets the pocket for a strike for his last throw of the day. And the King, Christian, is up for Merritt Island. The King there, Merritt Island boys and Edgewood boys. Good fan base behind them. So the King now up in the 10th. Ooh, Messenger comes in front. Does not get the 10-pin the fall. And Edgewood gets 9 pins, leaving the 2. Christian trying to get the 10-pin. Ooh, and did not get it over far enough. They finish on the day with a 173. Merritt Island gets all 7 points. And Edgewood gets the spare. They can finish with a 130 if he strikes out. Folks, I'd like to thank you for watching the bowling broadcast today here at Shore Lanes in Merritt Island between the Merritt Island Mustangs and the Edgewood High School boys bowling team. I am Double D Daryl Durand here on the broadcast for Alan Slaughterzinski and myself. We thank you for watching the broadcast. Thank you to JT Andrews Framing and Remodeling for your sponsorship. And the last ball thrown comes across, and the 7-pin stays up. So a 129 for the Edgewood High School on the day. So for Edgewood and Merritt Island, I am Double D Daryl Durand here for the Merritt Island matchup between Edgewood and the Mustangs. For AZ and myself, thank you. Have a good night, and God bless. Stay safe, America.